circus, you'd be a clown by now. No, I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing.
Sir Elton John, I'm Still Standing. That's Dan Radio Style for you right there. I've got a great show that I think is going to be helpful to a lot of people. Like I said, I'm going to be doing some stuff on letting go. And again, it's a tricky topic, but I think it's not. It's just we have to all find our understanding, our own individual understanding of what letting go is. I mean, we can try to describe it, but ultimately a lot of us are just going to happen upon it. And I've got a great viewer example of giving up, and kind of this sort of mimics the process I went through. And again, everybody's story is different. Please don't assume that this is necessarily your story. But what's in here is some really golden nuggets in the middle of it all. So it's not just the fact that there's letting go and that who knows what's going to happen and the outcome's still not necessarily certain. It's the experiences within. I'll try to explain more, but try to read between the lines a little more than in this story. And it's less of the, we'll talk about it. How about that? So anyway, Dan, you're absolutely spot on. I've experienced this a couple of times already with my person. I'm on the 4th time of manifesting our relationship. Each time it has felt wonderful, but seemed as if the timing was off, if that makes sense. What you're saying is hitting dead center for me. I love him, but I'm finally enjoying the time I've needed for my own growth. I'm figuring out how much I enjoy my own company, and I love him enough to let him have that too. Now, being able to love him while also saying I give up feels like peace. And I'm loving the experience of attracting that which I desire. It is a powerful and magnificent. Once you have that moment of, whoa, I did that, then you will have that live example which you can use to get there again and again. It's getting to the point where letting go is your norm. That, like she says, whoa, I did that. It's when you totally connect that causation. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I did the simple manifestations. I hear that all the time. So they did the basics, that's great, but then they're immediately questioning the more advanced. Well, the point of doing more of the basic stuff is so you understand. This is how it works. So you have that confidence. So you have that faith. It doesn't matter what you tell anybody else. It doesn't matter what outward things you show to others. The manifestation journey is for you and you alone. You can group manifest, but still, even then, each one of you is doing an individual manifestation. It comes down to us developing, evolving ourselves. A lot of the times when we're in this panic, when we're in this, I gotta have it now, there's so much out of balance internally. And in a lot of cases, if it's a breakup, for that example specifically, in a lot of cases, the breakup occurred because of imbalance. Because both of you probably lost sight of who you were. Prior to meeting, you knew who you were. You knew what you were interested in. You knew what you liked. You knew what you enjoyed. And then you met someone wonderful that had similar and like interests. And you guys enjoyed things together. And then sometimes it gets to a point where an imbalance begins to happen, or you start to glom onto what they maybe do, or you stop having your own friends and their friends become, like you fold yourself into their world and lose sight of you. And from a soul level, a lot of times, that creates a bit of a problem for your life path. Your life path is your development. It's not what your specific person or significant other, or it's not what your soulmate is learning. It's not. I mean, what even if you're involved in something where they're learning, it's still their learning to have. It's not yours. Yours is your side of the experience. So again, she's talking about being on her 4th time at manifesting, and I can kind of see that because that's probably about how many times I quit with my significant other. And I say quit, walked away, whatever, got frustrated. Things just like weren't quite moving anywhere. And I agree with her. It felt very much like the timing's not right. And that gets confusing when you're in that moment where you're like, why am I doing this? Why do I feel so strongly about something that can't happen right now? Why? And so here I am, almost to the mark 5 years later, actually a little past that if it counts when I fell in love with her. And I look back, and there is so much that has happened that could not have happened if we were already together. Again, lives start to meld at that point. It starts to become more of a commonality. As long as both sides stay true to who they are, it works beautifully. But without that, where I'm growing with someone, I was able to grow as myself. I was able to essentially fall in love with me. With me. For the first time in my life, I fell in love with me. I look in the mirror and I'm proud of who I see. I'm a nice guy. I try really hard to get along with others. I try my best to make people happy and enjoy their lives and try to be of use to them. But I still hold true to what's important to me, and I make sure that my rights are still intact. And I'm looking out for number one. But I start to realize that that's actually a bigger thing than I used to realize. It does involve my specific someone for sure. She's a part, a small spoke of that. But for years, 2-3 years, she was my focus. Lord knows how that must have felt to her, but she was my focus. And then I finally woke up and realized, no, dude, you need to be the focus. She's what you get to receive once you finally get yourself figured out, because now you're a more attractive choice for her. And it's not that she didn't love me, but again, it's like the timing wasn't right. I was still preparing. I was still getting ready. Like this person here too. She's progressing and moving in a wonderful direction and finding herself and her love and her desire. And her specific person is doing much the same. And this is the case with my specific person. The way things are right now, it's very much both of us are kind of working on our own aspects of our lives. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And like I said in one of my recent shows, and I don't know why I always point that way, because that's where the show's at. But the progress that I've gotten as I've moved through with her. I don't actually know what I was going to say when I was pointing at the last show. Last show I did. I don't even remember which one it was about. But needless to say, we progress through these things. We're improving ourselves. We're making a difference. We're growing. Yes, there you go. Now it comes back to me. It takes time. Like I was talking about in my other show, there's blossoming, blooming. The flower takes time to reach from the bulb to total gorgeous, beautiful opening of a rose. It just needs a little time. Give it a little time, grow with it, work on who you are. You've done some wonderful manifestation work. It's not that you're lacking there. That's not where you're lacking. If it's not happening quick enough, it's not that you're not trying hard enough on the manifestation process. There's self things that probably need some time and attention. Just trying to imagine from when you're not vibrating at the right energy, you're not at the right place. You're not ready for that. It's ready. It's queued up. It's ready for you to go. But sometimes it's waiting on us to evolve ourselves. Whatever that may be. You've got some nagging voice inside of you that's telling you what you need to work on, because it keeps popping up every so often, and it's sort of annoying, right? It's like, I don't want to. And it's probably that thing you don't want to do. Trust me. It's like, I'd rather just be cool with where I'm at. But growth changes us energetically too. Our frequency, our vibration, what we vibrate at, what we feel like to other people. You ever been around someone that just feels good? That's what I'm talking about. That is energy emanating from you. It's your aura. Call it whatever you want. It's got all sorts of crazy names. But ultimately, like your etheric body, I don't know. It's, don't even get me started. Try to keep this simpler. But it's the way you feel. And when you feel better and your significant person thinks about you and you're feeling better, that's their experience of you. So if they think of you right this second and you're just happy and joyous at that moment for whatever reason, maybe you're at a party, they're kind of getting a happy feeling when they feel you. And if you're grumpy and angry, then it kind of feels weird. Like, it's similar. The us pushed out, it's them, it's reflecting back on them for sure. So our experience that we get from them is the us pushed out part, sure. But there's also the side of it that they experience of us pushed out. That's why I kind of want to do another show. I've talked about this a couple times now. And it will come. I will get to that. It's 11:11. It was just 11:11 on the camera. How cool is that? Anyway, a lot of good stuff going on. The energy that we progress while we're moving through these phases, while we're looking inward and preparing ourselves for this wonderful experience of being with this significant person that we're manifesting, this relationship, this perfect relationship. Well, perfect's a bad word to use because that's sort of a dangerous way to look at it, right? You're looking for one that's going to work with you, allow you to grow, and they can grow with you because ultimately relationships are growth. And there will be times where you will have your moments, you will have your arguments, and you'll have amazing love and amazing trips and journeys, and most of the time it'll be wonderful, and you maybe have children, and all, right? Like there's a whole slew of experiences that are meant to come. So when I say perfect in my mind, I mean we're just a good fit for each other, and we can travel and grow and develop together through life. That to me is a pretty solid, healthy relationship, a good relationship, right? And I've got it defined out a little better than what I'm going to spit out here in the show. But again, spending the time to do all this stuff, when you finally get to that place where you're just content and happy and actually finally ready for the relationship, it is like she says, it's truly a powerful and magnificent moment. You just feel it. It's a level of peace and calm. A lot of people have said, I'd love to get to that point where I'm just relaxed like you are. And I believe me, I'm like a duck on the pond with everyone else, right? My feet are going a mile a minute. I look calm up top. Yep. Oh, everything you see. But down here, I'm freaking out. It still happens. I still have my moments. Maybe I've controlled it. Well, I've worked on it a lot, so it's definitely infrequent. But when they happen, they're still grabbing. But it's good. That's part of this. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is a great example of this process. Again, it's just, if we can just allow it to unfold, if we can be a little patient, because something magnificent is brewing and brewing, and it's happening. It's coming together. There's pieces that are falling into place. Everything is in process. It's happening right now. It's crescendoing up. And like I mentioned in a show recently, right before something's done in the oven, right? 5 minutes before, like when you're baking cookies, it's almost how you know when the cookies are ready because you start to smell them. It becomes like, oh, the cookies, I totally smell them. It smells awesome. So then you go to the oven and a couple more minutes, boom, they're done. As you get closer and closer, it crescendos and it starts to become even more and more and more amazing. And then it's finally happening. It's a crescendo. It's not going to be like, and then you're going to go from to, oh my God. It doesn't work like that. You got to go from and slowly be like, right? And slowly work your way up. That was probably some of the worst acting ever. But whatever the case is, work your way up through the energy to the point where you're content and happy. And it's amazing what it can do for you. Again, hope this helps. Going out with a song. I'm not overly familiar with Demi Lovato. Orale. I'm not all that familiar with her, but the song was really, really cool. It's called Give Your Heart a Break. It's Dan, Radio Style.